Okay, everybody, so we're getting ready to button this up. This is going to be the second part of the video series, and it's going to be all about actually tightening up and polishing the repair up. And then the third part continues on with the buttoning up of the car, and hopefully at the end we will have a bonus for actually selling the car. Anyway, yeah, so we're going to move on from here. Welcome to What Rex Rides, and we appreciate watching the series. So if that first section or that second section wasn't bad enough, you know, tearing off that roll pan, it got worse because we're still tearing off that roll pan. Eventually, I just had to stop and actually cut it out. It was that difficult. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, just cutting out some welds and stuff like that. This thing was really difficult, which also is a testament to how these cars are actually put together. And you'll see how much work it actually took. And yeah, you go from there. The parts have come in. This is the rail end that actually comes in. So this is what I was talking about. This is actually already butt welded. As you can see, that this is a lot thicker metal than what this is right here. So this one right here, underneath, this is actually twisted all the way over on this other side right here. So it's actually really tacoed on underneath. So I'm gonna cut the old one out, and then this one's gonna get welded in. Now as far as the tub goes, this is the new tub. You can see. So this is going to get welded in, and as I thought, it was right there on this edge, so that's a good thing. This is also welded in already, which is nice because then I don't have to weld it in. And remember, on the parts piece in the previous video, it actually shows, in the catalog, it shows this as a separate piece, so this is already in. During the shipping, they did damage this edge right here. Kind of annoyed on that, but that's kind of the risk you run with shipping. People, I'm not going to say they don't get paid enough to actually care about shipping, but they get paid enough to actually care, and they should. So anyway, that's a quick video here on that. I will video a little bit more on fully disassembling the rest, and I just want to throw this in as a clip. And just like that, the back end is off. Not just like that. It was actually pretty tough getting all those pinch welds out. Just need to clean these things up, get everything straightened up. I'm actually going to pull this rail sideways. I'm pretty sure it's off by about an inch or so. So this is going to come back over to the left. This is going to get pulled out. This actually does have it's supposed to have a dip down. So this is going to have to get picked up, pushed down. As you can see over here, this one actually was undisturbed, and that's exactly the way it works. So we're going to have to pitch rig it all up, or pull it all out, and then pull it out. This is going to still has to be cut out right here. There's nothing wrong with the top piece other than it being pinched right here. So that's going to have to be hit right there, hit right here, in order to be able to pull that piece out. There may be, I think maybe one right here and one down here also. So after that's done, then this should drop out, and we should be able to put the new one in before we're going to pull this pan out, straighten that out some before we get everything put in. We're going to make sure everything fits right when we put it in, and then we can seal it up and tack weld it together. So, that's a good portion of the way there, though. This is the hard part, and once we get past this, the easy part becomes just a welding, sealing, things like that, and then putting everything back together. Okay, so this next clip is going to be about pulling that right rear rail back into place. That was a booger. It really was. So, there's nothing simple about this car. And of course, I've told you guys in the past, I was doing it during the winter. So doing it during the winter in the cold, and pulling rails and stuff like that, trying to stay warm, wearing warm clothes. It's difficult. It was fun. It was interesting. It was challenging. Not as nearly as challenging as this next one coming up, but this one was challenging. So we got the right rear rail straightened out, and then there was the left one we have to actually put back in and all that fun stuff. So take a look. This is the time lapse of that. Okay, not super crinkled in. I'm not gonna lie, it's not gonna be that much better, but this was completely caved in. This right here, getting better. I need to pull out from right here, pull it out a little bit. All right, everybody. So this next clip is about actually prepping everything for putting in the new frame rail and the roll pan. So these were different little parts here and there. I had to make sure that I had weld through paint, or I'm sorry, weld through primer. So what weld through primer is you actually put it down just like a primer, except for you can actually weld through it. It's got metal content in it, so it allows it to be able to be weld through. It's copper, and so you don't wind up with rust in those areas that you've actually been welding on, and then you come back and you can actually prime over the top of things. So yeah, that's a lot of prep work on that, getting everything sanded down, ready to go, and aligned and everything like that. So that's the next clip here, right here. I've got it mocked up right now with the rear bumper on it. This pan is welded, semi-welded in. It's got a few welds right here. And this is what I've been working on. Okay, best and smartest thing ever. Make sure you keep all your bolts in a labeled bag. This one says rear bumper on it. That way you know where the bolts went to. Sometimes you'll wind up with different size bolts for different scenarios, such as like maybe the transmission. The transmission has different mounting areas which give you different size bolts. And so you want to make sure that each one is marked so you know exactly where it went to. So whether you use stickers or paint, or paint pens, different color paint pens, or even Sharpies, just make sure you know exactly where they went. But mark the hole, then mark the bolt. Definitely helps when you put things back together. I don't know how well the sound is going to come through because I can't find my mic. Seems to be missing. And also us old people, we need protection. Now, welders, what they do is they have a couple special wrenches that they use beyond like doing automotive and stuff like that. One is called the spud wrench. The spud wrench actually just has a long spike on it, and it just allows you to line things up when you're actually putting things together. When I was 18, one of my first jobs with my uncle was to actually, I was working with him, and we were doing steel construction, and he was a welder. And so I learned a lot about spud wrenches and like cleaning welds and things like that. The only thing I didn't do is actually weld, which was crazy because I should have actually been welding and learned how to do that. I really liked working with him, and I really enjoyed being with him. He passed this summer. That was one of the deaths we experienced this year, or this last year, was him. So my aunt, one of my aunts on my dad's side, my uncle on my mom's side, and then my mom all passed in the first 7 months of the year. So yeah, anyway, back to the thing. Okay, so this next part was, I had a significant amount of time actually in doing the welding and everything like that. So once I got prepped and everything like that and set up, we were doing all the weld through paints and prepping and dremeling and sanding and grinding and everything like that. Then we got set up, ready to go. We put the panels in place. We checked and tack welded them in and got ready for the full welding process. What we're going to be doing next is we're going to do the priming and sealing on the finished work after the welds. So the priming and sealing actually just keeps everything from getting rusted. You know, I mean, everybody sees all these repair jobs that has rust all over them, or semi just repaired, or someone shot primer on them and hoping that that wouldn't rust, which it does because you don't sand it down, you don't get rid of all the crap. You know, the metal bleeds through and it's exposed to water and things like that. It's gonna rust. So the seam sealer, what it does is it keeps intrusion from happening. It keeps everything protected. It does a lot more to it, but it also adds more of a factory look to it again. So, you know, I try to do everything like the factory does. Yes, my welding sucks. We all agree with that. But I need a better welder. In order to get a better welder, I need to get more videos out, because on a veteran's pension, doesn't go very far in these days. So I've been trying to do all this cash on barrel, not trying to finance everything except for on credit cards. And so it's, you know, I do one project every 3 weeks or 3 months or so, maybe every 4 months, you know, but that's the deal. You know, I mean, I got to do things, you know, on the slow, because that's the way my role is, you know. So anyway, that's it for there. It's the priming, seam sealing, and getting ready for the next step of putting everything back together. No, this isn't lucky. This was just a precursor to the legacy.
No, it's legacy.
Because I've never done anything like this. I did this.
It was lucky that there was nothing wrong with the innards of it.
Yeah, but I did the sub rail. I did the
How many miles?
frame rail. 95,000 on this. Do you want to keep it? Do you like it?
If
No?
you want to keep it, that's up to you.
Why do you leave it up to me?
You're the one selling or keeping the cars. That's up to you.
So I got the seam sealer all the way down in here. I primed it all. Brushed most of it out. Some of it I just left lumpy. Most of it I brushed out. It's ready to go.